So the stream has started. So you can go on YouTube and you can start looking. I think some of you learned when we showed this and piloted it a few days ago. Oh my God.
Excuse me, sir.
Bro, man.
I just clicked on the
What a guy. So it'll be delayed by about 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay? So on the class notes, this was 2.1.4. Okay? 2.1.4. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make a new part. I advised you guys to make a folder that was called EES 2.1.4. Yes, yeah?
Yeah.
And then I advised you to name your parts something like 2.1.4.A. So now we're going to make one, and it'll be B. Sound good? Yes, say yeah? I really don't care what you do. I would encourage you to do something that's intelligent. So you'll name them Part A, Part B, Part C, Part 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Some intelligent naming scheme, some organization, so it's easy to find this stuff later on. So I'm going to click on the blue Create button in the left corner, top left corner, and I'm going to choose Document. What am I choosing?
Document.
And then I'm going to type 2.1.4.B. There, easy, problem solved. And we are going to make this part. Now, let's take a look-see here. What units was the previous part made in?
Inches?
What about this one?
Millimeters.
Now, a number is a number, so if you just want to practice making stuff, it doesn't really matter what units you're using. But if you want it to be the correct dimensions, one of the things you should always make sure is that you have the correct dimension units set up in your workspace. So let's click on our menu symbol, okay? Click on your menu symbol, the 3 lines, and we're going to go to workspace units. Where are we going to?
Workspace units.
And the default unit you can set right here for length. There's a million things you can set. I would not waste your time touching them. Even if you're like, oh, I'm only going to work in metric. Yeah, but are you having forces calculated? Are you doing accelerations or speeds? If you're not, then you don't really care what these units are. So I would not worry about setting all of the units to be metric or imperial. I would just set the length unit. That's the only one that's worth messing with. So I'm going to change this to millimeter. As a little aside, 9 times out of 10, if you plan on 3D printing something, you want it to be in millimeters. Does it have to be? No, but like you'd have to customize, set your units to be something other than millimeters on the printer. Most printers are going to be in millimeters. So just make it millimeters. So we got that workspace unit set up. Little reminder in the view cube. So the view cube's over here. Yes, say yeah?
Yeah.
So you can click on a surface of the view cube and it'll square up your view with that surface. You can click on edges of the view cube to do 180s. You can click on corners of the view cube. I think the corner thing is really powerful. There are little arrows that are around the view cube that you can click to rotate it. I'm going to be honest, I don't find that to be super useful. What I find to be a more efficient way and what I think is more intuitive is to use your mouse. So if you hold the right mouse button down, you can free rotate. The right mouse button being held down, free rotate, free like the antelope. Yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Remember how to pan? How do you pan?
Control. Clicking middle button.
Yeah, so you probably would figure it out that zooming, that's just scrolling in and out. But that scroll wheel actually is technically a button. And if you push it in and move around, you can pan. We're good? Mm-hmm. Hopefully that has addressed all we need to address in relation to the view cube. So we're going to make this shape. We're going to make this shape right here. What do you think we're going to start off drawing?
Square.
What shape?
Rectangle.
It's going to be a rectangle, right?
What?
Now, I'm going to orient this exactly the way it's oriented in that. What I mean by that is the standard convention is front here, top here, and right side here. We see that? Yes or yeah? So this is top, front, right. So If I look here, this front surface would be on the front. This would be the top, this would be the right side. So when I draw my rectangle, I'm going to draw a rectangle on the front plane, and it's like as if I'm drawing this rectangle. It's on the front surface. So here we go. Going back to the software. I'm going to click on Sketch. What am I clicking on?
Sketch.
And then I'm going to choose the front plane. You'll notice that Sketch 1 has now appeared here on the left side. So this is like a table of contents, so to speak. I find when I sketch it on a plane, it's nice to look at it dead on. So I'm going to click on the front surface of the cube. We understand? Yeah. So I'm looking at a square. And I'm going to make a rectangle. I'm going to go to the rectangle tool right here. And I'm going to start with my corner at the origin. And I'm going to just make a rectangle. Let me explain to you why I'm using the origin. So there's not any symmetry here. It's not like this is going to be the center of the shape or anything. The advantage of just having it on the origin is it can't move around. Do you notice how 2 of the sides of the rectangle are black and 2 are blue? Yeah. You see that? So blue means unconstrained. So I can grab this edge and I can move it around, right? But when I started drawing the corner of the rectangle and this origin, I can't move this corner. I can move this corner. I can move this corner a little bit. I can click and drag 3 of the corners, but this 4th one cannot be moved. That's why those 2 sides are black, is because all you can do is make them longer or shorter. You can't change their position. Okay, how tall is this rectangle? So, look at the drawing. How tall is the rectangle? 45. How wide is this rectangle? 80. All right. So if you're lost, the height is right here, right? 25. And the width or length, whatever you want to think of it as, is right here, 80. Here's the dimension tool. To do a dimension, you click to turn the tool on. The first click selects what you want to dimension. The second click places the dimension. And then you type the number in and hit enter. Once you have placed a dimension, you can click and drag and move it around. You can double click on it to type in a different number. Or you can delete it and start over. What was the width?
80.
80. So I'm going to click on the dimension tool, click on the bottom of this, or the top, type in 80. Do we have questions? Notice the entire rectangle is black. We see that? So black means constrained. So since everything's black, the entire thing is constrained. There's no possible way you can configure that rectangle other than the one single way you see it right now. Generally speaking, it is desirable to have your sketches fully constrained because there's no ambiguity on what shape you're actually making. If you have stuff that's blue, that means someone could take the same dimensions as you, but there are some things that aren't constrained or dimensioned, and that means that they have the same dimensions as you have, but their shape could actually still be different. If we had not locked the corner to the origin, the entire rectangle would be blue. Because even if we dimension the size of the rectangle, if you don't lock the position in, it's not going to be blue. Okay? You can hit the green check mark. Yes, yes. And now, notice that the things at the top, they're no longer sketching tools, they're feature tools, three-dimensional tools. The first one is called extrude. Yes, we're good? Yes? I find it easier to judge how good my extrusions are if I'm looking at an angle. And I'm going to click on extrude. Okay. How far back is this going to go?
40 meters.
I can find the.
Well, you're not in your sketch, you're outside sketch, you go back in sketch. You have all double click. So the tool and our sketch tool. We good?
Yeah.
So it says that the depth, it goes back 40. So I'm gonna type 40 in here. We good? Extruding at 40. Yes? Yes? I suppose it would help if I actually selected the thing I'm extruding. There. So you can see a nice little preview. I'm extruding at 40. If you have any questions,
How do you preview it?
you have to have clicked on it. The preview will generate automatically if you've done valid inputs. And that's like, I'm speaking generally too. I'm not speaking for extrusions. Like any feature, if you get enough stuff to generate it, it will automatically preview. There might be a setting you can select to turn previews off, but
I see it.
we good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you did like go out of your way to make previews not show up. Okay. Now, we have a block, very boring block. We're going to spice it up now. So looking at the diagram, we have a hole in the top and a hole in the front. Yes, yeah? So I'm going to do the front hole first because it's much larger and it's like the entire shape. Okay. There are different ways you can do this, but I am going to encourage you to pick ways, if you're kind of new, to pick ways that are the most intuitive. Like it's just the most obvious way you do it. It's the easiest to like understand, right? It may not technically be the most efficient way, but it's the easiest to understand mentally. And I think that's an important thing when you're kind of starting out with CAD. So we're going to draw a rectangle here, just a regular rectangle. We'll dimension how far it is from the edge, and then we'll dimension its height and its width. So let's go make a sketch. Click on sketch, and then you can just click on the front face of your shape. Sound good? Yes, say yeah? Yeah? So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to click on the front part of the view cube, so I'm looking at it dead on, which will make it, in my mind, easier to do anything. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle. Yes, we're good?
Yeah.
And just be mindful, when you're drawing your rectangle, be mindful of snap to constraints. Don't draw your rectangle so it's touching one of these edges, because then it'll be snapped to always be touching one of those edges. Draw it kind of in the middle. Now let's go back to the drawing here. How thick is this, I guess for lack of a better term, wall or border? You guys know?
5.
5. It says in the drawing in multiple places. Okay? It says it's 5 right here, it's 5 right here, it's 5 right here, it's 5 right here. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to dimension it the exact way it was dimensioned in the drawing. So I'm not even going to bother calculating the height or width of this. I mean, I could do that. That might be more efficient, but I think it's more intuitive to just go with the numbers as given to you, because you can't get that number wrong then, right? Like you can't do the math wrong because it's the number that's already there. So to dimension two things, you're going to click on the dimension, and then I'm going to click on this line. Don't click on the midpoint. Okay, click on this line. I'm going to click on this line. And instead of clicking off in space, I'm going to click this one right here. And, you know, you can see, I mean, that's pretty similar to what they did right here, right? They basically just dimensioned the thickness of that. You can go do that for all 4 gaps or edges. We're good? Maybe, possibly? You need to get a gap of 5 all the way around. So a way that I did this is I just dimensioned between the edge of this and the outer edge with the overall shape. On all 4 sides. That's why I have 4 5s. If I had 4 5s, I'd be doing pretty good at poker too.
So pretty rectangular.
Huh?
Pretty rectangle.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
if you need help, then you need to come up here and get help. I'm not going to you. There's only one of me. I got cat videos to watch, so hurry up.
I would assume my rectangle isn't very through the line.
Well, you need to mention the side of it.
Oh, yeah.
You dimension the size of it. When you do a dimension,
It's not even my fault.
if you want to dimension the distance between here and here, you can put here.
Mine look like that too.
You can actually select one.
Yes.
If you don't,
It was me.
so if it's orange now, right, let it select
I'm
it. So
fairly
now
in
it's gonna go
investigation
in.
to figure out. And then I figured out plan.
Good. You only need to delete the 5 that's going vertically because it's a dimension of size.
You're in sketch.
So I did what you did, and I got it
The
by
actual correct size of the
Because
rectangle.
you did dimension.
Okay.
So,
It's not measuring
like, I'm just saying you did it wrong. I dimension 1,
Oh, what?
you guys dimension the other gap. Now, I'll tell you, that if you do this, then you're not gonna get what you want, because this is above.
Down to space units.
Above.
Yeah.
So what you need
Yeah,
to do
you're still an inch. There you go. Down to
is, you need to
the
grab the corner.
set it. The check mark and then go here.
You just flip out.
Yeah, you need to sketch.
So I this one said.
You know what? That
Arrow with the size.
yeah.
So, I'm not gonna show you guys here. It's not like one little step.
Okay, yeah, let's go back.
So, the next thing I did was I drew a rectangle on the front side. That's what this is.
30.
Yeah, well, no, I used the rectangle, I didn't use line, I used three. Okay, like, I will tell you this, that's all I've done, but, yeah.
So I did that, but I was like turning red. You were not red. Sketch cannot be solved.
Well, you don't even have a rectangle. Dude. Well, I don't know, Jeff.
Side.
I might have some Templeton classes next year. See me twice a day.
If you botch strings, and sometimes if you botch dimensions, you're better off deleting it and redrawing it than trying to fix it. Okay. I need you to get your rectangle drawn if you haven't already. And ideally it's dimensioned. Moving on, 30 seconds. You've been warned.
Delete that. It's too big. You're doing your. Delete it. Back. It's the back button.
Click the back button, Gabe. Back button.
Gosh, Gabe.
Gabe, what the freak are you doing, bro?
Look,
the freak guy.
That man clearly is not taking out drones and Rust or whatever.
Oh yeah. So you heard about the capturing of the Venezuelan leader? Apparently, that whole operation took less time than the scene of Will coming out in Stranger Things.
So,
What do you think about the ICE agent that shot the lady?
oh, bro.
What?
Dude, that.
Oh, I heard that.
So, hear me out. She was trying to block them.
I don't care.
It wasn't like she was just like actually just driving normally. And apparently she had been doing it, the whole morning. Whatever that means. I don't know how long, but like she was definitely in their way. But just because somebody commits a crime or is interfering, like, doesn't give you licenses to shoot them.
Yeah.
No, like they were saying that like the ICE officer was like horribly.
Oh, that was complete propaganda.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
So I mean, there's a pretty good video of it.
I saw it.
If you just had the situational awareness to realize that, like, the very beginning of the video, that the guy that's like behind the vehicle is the guy who circles around and then ends up in front of it when she tries to drive away, right? Because the camera, it shows, it's like a phone, right? It shows her SUV, I think it's an SUV, yeah. It shows her like her Jeep or whatever. And there's an ICE agent that's like behind her vehicle, like the passenger side, rear side, he's like behind it. And then the phone moves. You can't see what happens, but he walks along the passenger side. And so then he ends up in front of her vehicle, and that's where he is when she tries to drive away. Okay? So you don't actually see that on camera, but that's what happened.
Yeah, and like my thing is if this guy doesn't get in trouble for this,
He won't. I would be shocked if he does. I'm not saying he should or shouldn't. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm telling you, I would be shocked if he gets in trouble for anything.
What did he?
I would be shocked.
he's in the wrong though. Like he doesn't have the.
I'll just tell you right now, it doesn't matter. I'm just telling you right now, it doesn't matter. I would be amazed if he faces any consequences whatsoever.
Yeah.
I would be absolutely shocked.
Protest against against the White House.
Oh.
It's like all.
Here's what I think is really the point of contention. Are you allowed to shoot someone because they're fleeing a crime?
I mean, you could face him. Just face him.
Depends on the crime.
It was a
of course,
non-violent.
But yeah.
I mean, people obviously, and you can see this on the comments of any posted video. You can see in the comments, people are going to believe whatever they want to believe. I mean, the video is right there. You can watch the video, and you're going to have people say whatever they want about it anyway. And they've watched it, right? And they're going to already say whatever they want. But if you watch the video objectively, put in the context, she's definitely trying to block their way. Okay, but her window's open, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. You said you saw it, right? So her window's open. So the guy tried to pull the door open, right? He had his arm, he had reached in through her window. He tried to pull her door open, but it's locked, so he couldn't open it, right? She backs away. She had her wheels turned to the left. So when she backed, she had to turn her wheels to the right before she could drive forward. Because she's trying to turn away, right? And while she is turning the wheels from left to right and begins to accelerate forward, he's already drawing his gun. And so I think really the legal question is can you shoot someone because they're fleeing a crime?
No.
I mean, I can tell you right now, so you've heard this term, it's called qualified immunity. I don't know if you ever heard that phrase. It's an actual legal term. And it's basically the concept that law enforcement will use if they feel, threatened, they get that qualified immunity to respond with deadly force. And so it doesn't matter whether they were actually in danger, irrelevant. All that matters is it conceivable that if someone's in that situation that they might feel threatened. And it's a pretty low legal standard. Like what I mean by that is it's pretty easy to meet that standard. It's pretty easy to say, oh yeah, my life was threatened. So I don't think he's going to have a hard time justifying feeling threatened. But I think the really interesting legal question is, what if he makes a case, well, they were trying to flee and that's why I shot at them? Is that legally allowed? And I think that's a different legal question, right?
Apparently, the sign on for people joining ICE is like $50,000 or something like that.
Well, it's not a pleasant job.
No,
I mean, it's not.
no, probably not.
But, you know,
Depends on who you are. If you're eating breast, that's just.
I mean, that guy didn't choose to be there.
Both of love it.
He was ordered to be there, right?
Yeah.
But he did choose to draw his gun on a vehicle that he chose to get in front of. I mean, he's shooting at his third shot's fired as she's passing him. So I mean, I think any reasonable person is going to look at that and say, you're shooting at them because you're fleeing, not because you're trying to protect yourself. And that's why I think the interesting legal question is not whether his life was in danger, but whether you're allowed to shoot at someone effectively to reprimand them because they're fleeing a crime. I think that's an interesting legal question.
I think it really depends on what the crime was.
It doesn't.
No?
It either you're allowed to shoot because they're fleeing, or you're only allowed to shoot, because it's a safety thing, right?
Yeah.
That's there's no like in between, right? Either you and I would say that each individual police department might have their own policy on that. He doesn't work for the police department because he works for ICE.
Wait.
But I still think that's the legal question. Can you shoot at someone for no reason other than because they're fleeing?
No. But if
And I think that is going to be the case that's brought forward if you were to prosecute him, right, you would say you should not have felt threatened. You chose to put yourself in front of the vehicle. She's clearly trying to flee, right? She's not trying to hit you. She's trying to flee. You put yourself in the way. Are you allowed to shoot someone because they're fleeing? I think it's going to be the legal question. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Louis, I don't think a man's ever going to see a day of jail or punishment or anything. Let's say that right now. You should have a square or rectangle drawn. We are going to do something that I don't think we've done yet, but we're going to basically cut material away. You can think of it as like a negative extrusion. So, click on extrude. What are we clicking on?
Extruder.
And you're going to select this rectangle here. Okay? But you may have noticed earlier that you have these options, these tabs. And if you choose the remove tab, now it's cutting material away.
Wow.
Okay, now you're going to have to do a little bit of thinking here.
25.
How far back are we going to actually go? How far?
25.
What'd you say, Drew? It's 30. So you can see it stops here.
Mine's not.
And if you do a little bit of math, the depth or width or whatever you want to call this line right here is 25. And that's 5 away from this leading edge. So it's basically 30 from this edge to this part back here. And so it is going to be 30. You have to do a little bit of math or thinking for that. But there.
Yay.
Are we good?
I got a whole.
Extruded.
Okay. I want you to actually pay attention to what I do for the next one. Do not think you know what you're doing. You don't. Just telling you right now, you have no idea what you're doing. So don't work ahead. We are going to do this top hole. Now, I would hope you would be able to draw the square and dimension that on your own. Okay? That part I would hope you could do now. We would make a sketch on top. Yeah? We'd make a sketch on top. We would draw a rectangle. And we would dimension it. And the way that I would dimension this, I would just dimension it the way it's dimensioned in the drawing. So it's 25 in each way. And then it's 5 from these two edges. That's what I would do. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it. I'm not even going to say it's the best way or most efficient way to do it. But my attitude is that to reduce error, if you dimension it the way it's dimensioned in the resource provided to you, you're less likely to make a mistake. Does that make sense? Yeah? Maybe, possibly? And so again, it's all black, it's fully constrained. The combination of these 4 numbers locks that into place. There's no other possible way to configure that rectangle. It's not possible to configure it any other way than that one way. That part I would hope you could do on your own. The next part, I'm going to show you the proper way to do it. And you'll see, I hope you'll appreciate why you want to do it that way. But we got to have our square first. We have our square? Yes, yeah, maybe? Possibly?
Mine's not square.
Well, it should be 25 by 25. I mean, like, those are the dimensions that are given. It is actually a square.
Like how square.
Huh?
Square.
How do you put the square? What?
You need to get a You're right.
Okay. We're going to click on extrude. What are we clicking on?
Extrude.
Now, all the extrusions we've done up to this point, whether we're adding or removing, we have done a blind extrusion. What blind means is it blindly extrudes whatever number you put here. It don't care what's in the way. Doesn't care about anything else. It just goes that distance. That's why it's called a blind extrusion. But what we're going to do change it to remove first before you do this, or it's not going to really work out. Okay? You can do extrusions up to the next thing, or up to a specific face that you click on, or up to a specific part, or you can even do through all, and it'll extrude. And you really only do through all if you're taking away material, because the computer can't really handle an infinitely sized thing. But I'm going to do up to next. And what that does is it will automatically extrude up to the next surface or feature. And what's nice about this is you don't have to do any math. What if you go back and you change the height of this shape? Well, if you had extruded it a certain distance, and then you change the thickness of that layer or how big the shape is, that extrusion distance may no longer be valid. So my recommendation is when you can extrude up to next or up to face or part, do it. It makes it more resilient to changes you make in the future. We understand? Yes, say yeah. Up to next. That's not just me showing you a way to do it. Like, that actually would be the best way to do this. Okay? Because if I ever were to go change the parts dimensions later, that would be more resilient to those changes. That is as far as we're going to get today. So I'm going to end the stream now. Tomorrow, we will finish this, and we'll